What's up, gang? I want to do a quick trade review of the short I set in for most of the session yesterday. I've had a lot of questions about it, and honestly, I thought it was pretty straightforward. So I just kind of want to give a breakdown of what my thoughts were and why I stayed in it on most of my accounts. Um, Basically, if we look at the morning, how we started. I mean, basically Asia kind of chopped around, and then towards the end of the Asia session, we go lower. Um, basically, from basically 1 o'clock on, it was just one directional bullish. We created these bullish breakers. That's what these blue boxes are. Um, and you can see that they line up with our digital open and also our kind of midnight open as well. So we know the significance of that. Um, but then if you come up here, we finally got some SMT right here in between the 5 a.m. candle, which is the end of London, and then the 7 a.m. candle. We finally got SMT there. We created a bullish breaker here. So starting in the morning, this was and also while we got this SMT, we tapped back into the what's that 10:15 from Thursday night into that bullish breaker. Um, so we tapped into here into a bullish breaker while creating SMT. That right there, if you're at the charts, you need to look for an entry to get long. But then we immediately created this bullish breaker, and this is what was driving my analysis for the open. Um, and honestly, if you could get in down here, I'm sure on the 1 minute there was an entry that somebody could have taken. But if not, we did have 8:30 news, and on the 8:30 candle, I missed this long, and I was at the charts. We do have consecutive candle SMT with YM, I believe, right here from the 8:15 to 8:30. There was a bullish breaker on the 1 minute. I personally was waiting for it to come in and tap this 15-minute bullish breaker. We never got it. I missed my entry to go long. Um, and then there was a setup at 9:30. However, when we get to the 1 minute, I'll tell you why I did not take it. It's outside my model. Um, but basically, we had this rip rally. I mean, from 8:30 on, um, and I had all my standard deviation projections from all these prior bullish breakers. I mean, we just sliced through every one of them for the most recent measurements. The only one that was holding was the bullish breaker from 11 o'clock, 11:15 on Thursday morning that we put in before lunch. These projections took us well above the prior month high. But once we got, we started just melting upward through all these projections. I honestly I was looking for reversals around in here, but there was zero setups to take. So it was a very easy decision not to try to knife catch or not knife catch, I guess catch a rocket ship and short as it just blasts through. But once we got up here to the prior week high, this was an area of interest for me to start looking for a short. Um, Now, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a reversal or just a retrace to possibly continue to go higher, because we did have these higher projections based on that 15-minute bearish breaker, or I mean bullish breaker that I was talking about. But let's take a look at the 1 minute. Um, and we'll go down and I can show you the 8:30 right here. So we had 8:30 opens, we drop down, we have a bullish breaker that aligns with the 8:30 open, and it was rocket time. You could have entered, let's see, right there at that swing high. It came down, tapped it perfectly, and then it was gone. This right here would have been the entry that I should have taken, and I missed it, and that's fine. I was wanting it to come down into here into the 15-minute bullish breaker that I showed a little while ago, but we did have the SMT right in here. And then we can come up and we see we got the 9 o'clock, 9:30 opening prices here. We did have a bullish breaker there. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. What's this? The low of this was 90.25. The low of these. Yeah, so this would not have been a bullish breaker that I'd want to take, because if we had a new swing low here, this would have been a low, high, lower low, and then this could have been a breaker. Now, granted, you probably could have taken this if you wanted to, but this breaker right here, I was not going to take this whatsoever. And the reason is, this candle right here that confirmed the breaker, this was the 9:30 open. So what do we know about the 9:30 open? Typically, it's a Judas move to then go the opposite way. So even though this was one of those cases where it was not a Judas and it led to, the rocket, I even if we came back to this, I would not have taken this trade. So I was fine missing this one. This one I'm not fine with. But this one I'm perfectly fine missing. But let's go on up and we can look at let me make this a little bit bigger. We can look at the price run all the way up there. I told you we hit all these projections from the lower breakers, but for my model, which is breakers during key time at liquidity levels, we did not form one bearish breaker on this entire run up. So that's a key that obviously you can't try to knife catch it, or not knife catch, rocket ship catch, whatever you want to call it. But we come up here and we see the first glimpse of a bearish breaker possibly starting. Not in here, not in here, and not in here, but let's see, right here during our 1050 macro, we actually set up, and right here as well, we set up bullish breakers. And here I can kind of highlight that for the visual. So these right here are bullish breakers. Now, during that 950 macro, we look for continuation to the upside. So I actually got into a long when we inversed this fair value gap on this candle right here. I did not take this one. I got in up here when we inversed right there. Now, granted, we ran up. We failed to displace and continue to run after this big candle made a new high a day. So I actually took it off. I believe I took a small loss on this. It wasn't a break even, but I took a very small loss because I have a really hard time with continuation plays like this, especially, we ran up almost 300 points, I believe. Maybe we did run 300 points, and we took the prior month high. So this for me, I was okay missing. If we continue to run, I took a small loss on it. Let me take these off the chart. And then as soon as we made this new high, we had 15-minute consecutive candle SMT with YM. We have the 10 o'clock open and price right here. This right here becomes our bearish breaker. The let's see, what is this? The 1017 candle. That becomes our bearish breaker. I enter on the swing low of a bearish breaker, or the swing low that has the bearish breaker in it. So I was sitting here patiently waiting. Closed out of my long. I believe I closed out right in here on that candle. Waited, and I was eyeing this fair value gap right here. I wanted to see it inverse. So on this candle right here, we got the close below. I entered on, here, I'll put this for visual. I entered on that candle right there when we bounced up. So I was anticipating this breaker being confirmed. We had also flipped the 10 o'clock open in price, so I really thought we were going to see speed to the downside once we did that. Now, I set through some heat. My stop was up here at the high of day. We ran the prior month high. NQ rated September highs, and YM and ES failed to do so. So this provided the liquidity and SMT needed for me to hold the short. I was either going to get stopped out or we were going to hit or take profits. During the we got consecutive candle SMT again with the 1045 and 11 o'clock candles with YM and ES. So I was actually eyeing this candle right here to become our new bearish breaker, because we had the high, low, higher high, we had the SMT, and I know a lot of people took this short in the group, but I believe that they stopped out. I'm not sure where they stopped out at or why, but this was this stop loss never got tagged. So if you were in this short, you could have held. Now we did have another breaker right here. So we had our high, our low, and then our higher high up here. We confirmed this breaker on the 1128 candle, still having the SMT in place here. So this was another option to get in short if you wanted to take it. And these breakers lined up, the breaker blocks all line up with the 10 o'clock opening as well. So we had nested breakers throughout here that lined up with a key price. Now, I had to sit through, let's see, I entered at the 1047 candle, and I had to sit through until about 115 until we really started getting the move down. So, I mean, what are we talking, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. And then once we finally got this displacement candle, we confirmed, or on that leg, we confirmed this bearish breaker here, and we just melted. It was a quick move. It was fast. But going back to why I held this, the liquidity at the prior month high was going to outdo anything that gave me a bullish move once we confirmed this breaker right here. Okay, so once I got into the short on the on the inversion of this BISI, I was holding until my stop was hit or until my TP was hit. Now, I took profits at, I believe right here at the -1.5 from here, because that lined up with -1.5 and -2 from the time manipulation at the 10 o'clock open. It also aligned right here with -2 and -4 from some of these other projections. So I took my first partial here. We went to break even on the trade. Took my next partial, I believe, down here at -2.5. And then I believe I got stopped out. I got stopped out right here when we created this bullish breaker during the last half of the day. Or no, 150, sorry. Yeah, when we created it in the 150 macro. I got stopped out. But we rolled back over, made a new low a day, and I have this drawn on my chart, and this is something that you can go study if you so choose to. But here is that 824, 825 breaker that aligned with the 830 key time that gave us our news bullish breaker that ran. Look at where we came down to. Kind of random place that we stopped. You could have taken a long here. We got a bullish breaker. We got a low, high, lower low. So we have the bullish breaker here. You could have gotten in on the anticipation on the flip of this, which would have been right here. Now, it didn't run to projections because of how heavy the afternoon session was, but this would have been a valid long to take. But once I closed out my short, I was completely done trading. I was not interested in it anymore. But yeah, so I just wanted to do a quick video, and let me go back to the 15-minute real fast, because we did create a bullish breaker in here somewhere, and then it was, let me see, where do we have it? We did have some SMT, bullish SMT. I believe it was the 1045. Okay, we had SMT in here, and I know some people took longs because they wanted to play the BISI SMT. Oh, maybe it was right here. Okay, yeah, this is what got me initially long. We did have SMT on the 10 and 10-15 candles. But other than that, I mean, there was no reason to get out of the short. Now, full transparency, and I told y'all in the group, 75% of my accounts, I held the short in throughout the whole move. 25% of my accounts, I was trading around it, and I believe, yeah, it was this 1054 candle played a bullish move, which got stopped out on 25% of my accounts. But then we were still in the short, and we didn't flip, stayed in, and rode it all the way down. But the main thing that I preach with my trading and to the students that I work with one-on-one, or even just in general in the chat, what is the most important liquidity that has been rated? And that was the prior month high. Prior month high liquidity. On this trade, I am willing to sit in all this chop. This is a huge liquidity pool. Huge. And this is worth risking your capital for. This is a A1 setup for me. A plus, whatever you want to call it. The time distortion, it stunk. But this is ideal, what we look for. So if you didn't take this trade, or if you took it and you got scared and chopped up and got out, study how important these session liquidities are, especially at prior month high. But if you have any questions, or if you want to go into deeper discussion about anything with this, my DMs are always open, and I hope you find some value in this, and let's get ready for a great week next week. Take care.